ドジャースの大谷翔平が日本時間25日、敵地で行われたツインズ戦に1番投手兼 DH で二刀流出場しました。1点リードで迎えた2回、大谷は3本の安打を許して一死満塁のピンチを招きます。すると9番クライドラーへの初球がホイツとなり、三塁走者が生還、同点に追いつかれました。この1球はメジャー自己最速タイとなる 101.7 マイル、約 163.7 キロの渾身の直球でしたが、捕手のラッシングが捕球しきれませんでした。その直後にはプライヤー投手コーチがマウンドへ向かい間を取る場面もありました。また大谷がラッシングに対して強い口調で何かを伝えているような様子も見られ、試合後もこの場面は大きな話題となりました。このシーンについては試合後に多くの関係者が言及しています。これらの模様を日本語字幕付きでご紹介します。
Well, for Shohei Ohtani, he has had an excellent season just on the mound. He's got a sub-2 ERA. But if we look at his last two starts, he just hasn't been as sharp. He's given up 8 runs. Only 7 of them have been earned. But today, this afternoon, Dave Roberts spoke to the media as to what he's been seeing from Shohei and if there's any concerns heading into this start today.
I think that, the last couple haven't been ideal. I think what's led to that is, honestly, with most pitchers, is just command. And I think that the fastball command hasn't been there to his kind of expectations. The sweeper command hasn't been there to his expectations. So I think that it's not gonna continue for too much longer. So tonight, I know he's in a good place physically, emotionally, mentally. So hopefully it's a good one tonight.
He had talked about the knee inflammation and how he's past that, but could a portion of maybe this lack of command have been due to just those things and having to deal with that separately?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly possible. I check in with him all the time about the knee, and as does the training staff, and there's nothing from what we hear that's affecting him. So we're certainly keeping a watchful eye on him. And, he was even confident that he should and wanted to hit today. So that's a good sign.
What do you think about that blister? Because when you see blood on the player's pants, everybody thinks it's pretty severe. Is it as severe as it appears when you see that?
No, it's not. I understand that, when you get the blood, how kind of, what the thought is. But whatever it is that we put on the protective kind of aid, came off, and that's what to it. So I'll let the umpires know that it's there for that purpose, and I don't expect us to see any blood tonight.
When Shohei Ohtani spoke to the media about that knee inflammation that he was dealing with that's on his landing knee when he comes down the mound, he had shared that he believed it was coming from just some of the mechanical things he was dealing with the execution of his pitches, and that led to some of that inflammation. He since then has been working on a few mechanical changes, or maybe even adjustments might be the better word to say, to try to offset some of that knee pain that he was dealing with. So coming into this one, like Dave Roberts said, he is in a good spot. They're not concerned about the blister that we've been seeing on his right hand the last 2 to 3 outings. In the last one, we did see more blood from it that was on his pants leg, but with talking to Dave Roberts or even the training staff, they have covered it with the protection. Dave did say that he has to tell the umpires that it's going to be there, but they're not expecting to see any more blood from it in this outing this evening, guys. So they do feel like ultimately he's in a really good spot coming into this game today.
With that breakdown there, Kirsten, all I hear is the word tough. Appreciate it. Good work as always. We'll talk to you coming up later in the show. Guys, I do want to talk about that blister that Shohei had that he was dealing with. Obviously, his last time out against the Rays. He still went 6 innings, 5 strikeouts, but gave up the 7 hits and the 4 earned runs. How closely do you think that they will keep an eye on it? Nomar, I'll start with you. Dave Roberts mentioned a watchful eye.
Yeah, listen, they got to pay attention to it because it's critical. We've seen other pitchers in the past when they have blisters. Does it affect their pitching? Absolutely. And Dave Roberts was mentioning about the fastball command not being there to his liking. And could the blister affect the fastball fastball command? Sure, it can. But I think it also affected maybe some other pitches that he likes to go to. I don't know if he necessarily the last 2 outings that he used the split finger quite as much. He was going more to other type of breaking balls. But listen, he has all that in his arsenal as well, and he has a feel for what he feels like going on that particular day. But the other thing, too, is when you look at over his last 2 outings, you know, a lot of the runs that were scored off him were actually when they were going their third time through the lineup. You're looking like that 5th inning when he's given up most of those runs, and sometimes that's when the blister and the skin may be starting to come off. It usually doesn't happen early, but later on. So you're wondering, has that affected it where it comes that 3rd time where they're being more effective against him?
That's exactly right. I mean, that's when he was hit around, and that's when he didn't have command, didn't have feel for really all his pitches. He was dominant his last start, the first 4 innings, but when he did have issues with that blister, as you see the blood there, he couldn't have command with that fastball. He did not have command of his breaking ball, and guess what? The Rays took advantage of it, and they squirted a lot of baseballs, and that's when you saw those earned runs go up. So, yes, they're going to closely monitor that blister. Hopefully it's not an issue moving forward, because when it's not an issue, Shohei has proven that he is absolutely dominant. He talked to Shohei Ohtani, he said, I want to hit. That means he feels healthy, he feels strong, and he understands that, hey, I have that day off the next day, so I can really air it out on both sides of the ball, hitting and pitching. So I think the biggest key is not so much his knee or his stamina. I think the biggest key is the blister. So we're going to be monitoring the blister as the game goes along tonight, and hopefully it's not an issue, and hopefully he gets past that issue.
You see Shohei on Wednesdays. You know, the Dodgers were planning this. They wanted to really get guys and see what a 6-man rotation, but also guys from Japan, this is what they did. They pitched once a week. So to get them back on their schedules that they're familiar with, for Yamamoto to try to help them out, for Shohei, obviously, because of what he's doing. It's one that's familiar, but the other thing, obviously, is to protect the guy who's the two-way player and what he does that we haven't seen. So that's the reason why the Dodgers are really trying to do that and keep it consistent. Here's your Wednesday. Also, Shohei, he's like a robot, guys. When they're around him on a regular basis, like a robot. So keeping a routine and knowing what you have to do to prepare yourself both to hit and to pitch, and knowing that it's consistent. Here's that it's every Wednesday. Here it is. You probably also look at when you're in a certain place, because you're always playing on Wednesday as well. When you look at that, and you're probably in a place, it's not like you're just flying in the night before or anything like that. It's part of a series at times. So those all factor in, like how he can be consistent on his routine to do what he's doing and what we're amazed at watching.
Yeah, he's a funny robot. He does talk some trash. He hurt my feelings last homestand, but we're not going to go into it later. So.
No, shall we? Shall we?
Well, I was supposed to protect Shohei. I dropped the ball because I didn't want to dive, and he just said that, oh, Jay Hare, that's why you're on TV.
Yeah.
There's always a story before the story. Thanks for bringing it to life, Jay Hare.
Yeah. I'm still hurt by that.
You're still hurt. You're still hurt. And he hasn't apologized, which I don't expect him to. But I think
I was going to say, nor should he.
Yes.
It's been a fun series all throughout, but no doubt a lot of eyes on this series finale. It doesn't get any better than 2 of the best pitchers in baseball.
Is there a big pitching matchup tonight? Is that what we're doing? Joe Ryan versus Shohei Ohtani? This is going to be fantastic. This is what I think the culmination of this series, despite what happened yesterday, wasn't the best day for the Twins. Game 1 was a really good game. I expect to see that again tonight. I expect to see these two go out here, give us everything they got, put on a show like we know that Shohei and Joe Ryan can do. I'm really excited to see this one.
And it doesn't get better, too, than these two catching each other at this kind of time. They're both on a roll coming into their starts tonight. When you start with Shohei Ohtani, he's been pretty solid in his last 6 starts.
Absolutely. I mean, he's been solid all year. Realistically, Shohei Ohtani's been, if not the best pitcher in the NL, certainly top 2, top 3. But I would say if we were voting for Cy Young, he'd be up there. He's been phenomenal. He does it with a nice pitch mix. He's got the big 4-seam. He's got a splitty, and he's got a big sweeper that he uses. But realistically, to right-handed hitters, he's really just a 2-pitch guy. So for me, if I'm a righty, I'm using that to my advantage, see what I can do.
Doesn't come around very often. And so, yes, the fans obviously are going to be very excited, but they're not the only ones in this building that understand how special this matchup is.
Yeah, I mean, it's really cool when 2 aces go up against one another. You know, it's a power matchup, and like I said, I feel like the fans are going to love to watch that as much as we are. So it'll be a great night, and it's going to be fun to watch.
I think it's great for baseball and fans, you know, but honestly for us, it's just another day. We got to work hard, attack our approach plan, and, you know, enjoy the game, man. I think it's fun when we have fans in the seats and they're all going crazy, and it's been, for the last couple games have been fun.
Well, I think if you're a fan of baseball, this is an exciting game. I mean, you got two premier pitchers on the mound, guys are going to go toe-to-toe. I mean, you always say it's not the pitcher battling the other pitcher. To this respect, it is a little bit because Joe has to face Shohei. But, yeah, I mean, looking forward to it just because of the fact that you got two high-end pitchers that are going to go toe-to-toe, and we're going to be able to watch it.
Now, one person who was a little bit more ho-hum about the matchup was Joe Ryan himself, because he doesn't ever focus on the opposing pitcher. In fact, when I asked him about it yesterday, he said, quote, I mean, he's cool. We have the same hairdresser, so that's pretty cool, too. Katie, guys, that is the Joe Ryan experience to a T, if I will say so myself. Just like I said, we have the same hairdresser. That's pretty neat. Well, Joe Ryan, we all know, is a superstar. So Shohei Ohtani, and yes, Joe did finally admit, you know, he is probably the greatest baseball player of all time. But again, I'm not worried about who is going against me on the mound. So Joe Ryan, cool as a cucumber, as you would come to expect from him, guys, but it is going to be a really fun matchup. And fans are going to be hopefully in for a really good treat here in the finale.
There's a lot of things to love about Joe, but it's one of the things is you don't know what's going to come out of his mouth. He is so fun. The Joe Ryan experience is going to be on full display here tonight, and we're going to look forward to seeing Shohei Ohtani as well.
So the knee issue, the blister issue, but Dave Roberts said checks in continuously with him, make sure he's good to go, adamant that he wants to keep on going. Shohei did an interview in a magazine in Japan last week. One of the best windows into his thinking that I've ever seen. He doesn't often reveal much, but he was pretty open in this interview, talking about this season and how he's looking at pitching. He said, look, I'm not going to play it safe in order to tiptoe my way through being a two-way guy for as many years as possible, for as long as I can. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it all out, no holding back. So where you see the blood on his pants and a blister where a lot of guys would say, yeah, let's make sure we don't push this any farther, or a knee that's bugging you in your windup, he's saying, no, I'm not going to wait until that feels just right. I'm going. Strike one on Brooks Lee.
Well, basically, the competitor in him has taken over. I mean, that supersedes anything else right now, and that's great. That's great for Dodger fans. But you also, you know, it's going to be management and Dave Roberts specifically to make sure that, you know, there's a governor on that.
Said that he wanted to hit today. Remember, his last start he wasn't in there. Dave Roberts typically leaves that up to him, at least checks in to get his pulse, and Shohei said, yeah, I want to hit today.
I'm just like the way you're saying that. I'm just thinking it's like, that's like Little League-esque. Yeah, you know what? I want to pitch and I want to hit today. By the way, I'm playing for the best team in baseball.
It's like, well, with most kids, we wouldn't let you do that, but you're our best player. And we know about him loving pitching. He talked about that, too. He said it goes back to, as a kid, his dad taught him how to hit. His dad was a pretty good semi-pro outfielder and passed on all those things. He said that always kind of came natural to him. But pitching is more a self-taught thing that he's had to work at through the years. Well, the fact that he's had to work at it is what, for him, has made him love it. He said, I've always had this feeling of, quote, clumsiness that I haven't been able to get rid of on the mound. And because it's more of a challenge, my feelings about it are stronger. Talked about the responsibility of being a pitcher. He said that's what makes it scary, but that's also what makes it fun. And then he went back to that word. He said that ultimately is why I love it. It's fun.
Have you ever heard anybody say, like, I really love doing this, or this is really fun, when they're just getting their, you know what, handed to them 24/7?
No. Yeah.
This is great. I'm going to go do this again.
Bases loaded against Ohtani, and a cross-up here with rushing. Ball gets into the dugout. Caratini's in to score.
Now, we saw the same thing earlier in the game. It was very much the exact type pitch, the exact same reaction by Rush. And the ball squirted away the exact same way. So this isn't a first-time thing this evening.
You know, the other thing that's been different the last couple starts, probably more coincidental than anything, but worth noting, is the catcher with Will Smith, a sub-1 ERA, 5 ERA in the 2 starts with rushing. Infield plays in for the Dodgers as the 1-1 comes home and misses a little bit low. Ohtani challenged.
The pitcher is challenging the pitch.
And he
pitch is overturned. Pitch is a strike.
Shohei had tried to challenge a pitch earlier in the game. This is right now. He tried to. You see, Dalton doesn't want to do it. Thought it was a little low, but just clipped it. But Shohei had wanted to challenge earlier in the game, and he didn't do the full challenge, but he wanted to do it, and it was a pitch that would have been favorable. And we saw this happen in Pittsburgh, where he wanted to make some challenges, and Dalton didn't do it. This time, he took it upon himself.
Dalton was not happy. Didn't want him to do that. Ground ball through. The drawn in infield, and the Twins have taken a lead. Pages has it pop out of his hand. Kreidler trying to take second. He's out. 4 runs the first 2 games, 3 runs here in the second inning. Back to the top of the order, and Larnach.
You know, and something that set up this whole thing is, now this was earlier in the game, Cody Clemens, and Dalton had trouble trying to receive that ball. This is the same thing that happened earlier this inning, moved runners up and then allowed the scoring. So it wasn't the first time this ball game. I think that's why Show was probably a little, he wasn't thrilled. You know, we talk about the receiving end of it too. Here, also look at the challenge part. This is earlier in the game. Shohei was like, I want to and Dalton said no. And this is another one later on. I want to check. This one he wasn't going to make anybody question. He started hitting his head hard.
Strikes out Larnach and ends this inning, but the Twins get 3. The Dodger battery clearly not on the same page so far tonight. Body language down there saying that everybody's a little frustrated right now.
I think that's safe to say. I mean, it's look at I think you see, look at there we go. Freddie's, I mean, we know something's going on right there.
Down the line, foul.
He's not talking about hitting, which is great right now. I mean, you just got to bring Dalton back into the ball game. And you got the whole contingent there. Brent's there. Wow.
Now, Brent Walker is the mental skills coach. And Dave Roberts over there to share his support as well. Ohtani grounds one through, base hit center field. Freeland's in to score, and he takes one back. So a 3-2 game. Ohtani's given up 3, but he's knocked one in. And the Dodgers back to within a run.
Wasn't hit hard, but certainly effective right there. Showed getting us back within a run. I shouldn't say it. Certainly didn't sound hard, but classified as a hard hit ball, 95 miles an hour off the bat.
Even when he mishits it, I mean, doesn't even try.
Let me rephrase it. That wasn't hit hard for him.
Yeah. He's just so balanced right now. Everything's easy. Those home run swings we've shown from the side swings the last couple weeks, things of beauty. Picture's worth 1,000 words. Part of what has made Dalton rushing into the player that he is his intensity. He's an emotional guy. But as with so many things, what got us here isn't always what now serves us. Like the boat that gets you to the other side of the lake. Now you got to continue your journey. That boat doesn't do you any good. It's a burden. The Dodgers doing their best to help him channel those things, channel the emotions, channel the intensity, not lose it, channel it differently.
Tough to do when you're out in the field of competition because, the emotions run high. There's a lot at stake. Dalton's still trying to find his way, trying to prove his mettle. He wants to do well, especially for Shohei, and there has been some history, and it's easy to sit and say what we should do and how we should react, but until you're in those shoes, it just everybody's different.
And he's still pretty darn new to this whole thing.
Yep.
Now, just to close the book on Shohei Ohtani, these 6 innings, 3 runs, 1 of them was unearned. ERA now 1.58. career best 100-mile-per-hour fastball velocity.
And I think you brought it up earlier about, you know, there was some emotion tonight with Show, and he took it to another level with the velocity, and I mean, you use the word edge, and I mean, that's probably the best way to describe it.
Mookie, you had things going on both sides of the ball tonight, but when we look at the numbers offensively, you had 3 hits, and one of them happened to be your 300th home run. You are hitting so many milestones here soon. When you think about 300 and when it comes to the home run, how special is that achievement to you?
I mean, it's special, I guess. It just means I'm old. You know, I've been here for a long time. But, you know, I guess it kind of comes with the territory. I've been pretty good, and just got to keep on helping the boys win.
You look at just the numbers right now offensively, those 3 hits, you were triple shy of the cycle. But how much confidence are you just feeling back at the plate right now, considering the results you're seeing now?
I mean, I'm feeling pretty confident, feeling pretty normal. I know I've said it before, and then it didn't kind of pan out, but I feel like this is a little different, so we'll just ride the wave.
When you look at how you guys won this game, I know it started with Shohei, but to see this bullpen, how they fought through to pick up this win, what are you just seeing from the guys coming out of the bullpen?
They did an amazing job of just keeping them off balance. I know we got in a little bit of trouble, but they got themselves out of it. Shohei had a little misstep early, but he was able to kind of settle in, so the guys are just resilient, and it showed.
Do you think it was settling in for Shohei, or did you feel like there was another edge after that second inning of work?
It was probably a little bit of both. I mean, once he was able to settle in, and when he gets fired up, you know, he's already the best player in the world, but when he gets fired up, it's even better. And so at that point, we were just kind of sitting back and watching the show.
Now, this is a 3-city road trip. How important is it for you guys to start on such a high note with a sweep of your first team against you guys are going to be seeing?
Super important, especially going into San Diego where we're going. We know they're going to be hungry, and I'm ready to go, so at least we can go in with some good vibes.
All right, Mookie, congratulations on this win, and congratulations on 300 career home runs.
Thank you.
Shohei, can you just walk us through that second inning? It's clear that there were a couple emotions, maybe some frustration. Can you just describe what happened there?
2イニング目、いろいろ表情にいろいろ出たんですけども、何が起きたのかとか教えてきて。
全体的にやっぱりそのイニング、1イニングもそうでしたけど、やっぱ迷いながらこう投げてる感じはあったので、それがこう球の質的にも出てたのかなとは思います。
It's the first 2 innings. Actually, I wasn't quite convicted in a lot of the pitches I wanted to throw, so I think that's what you saw.
Looking back from that inning, though, did it feel like how you finished this game was with a little extra conviction or a little extra energy or maybe edge to your game?
その後は結構決意持った投球だったと思うんですけども、何かそう感じてましたか？
もう自分でそのなんていうんですか、組み立てであったりとか、球種の選択だったりとかっていうのをまずこうやってみようっていうのがなんていうんですかね、いい投球の一つの要因だったのかなとは思います。
Yeah, I just took the initiative to really game plan and just have a plan of attack for each hitter, and I think that's what you saw.
Were you and Dalton having a hard time getting on the same page early in the game?
ラッシュとちょっとなかなかいい感じじゃなかったっていうか、何か。
そう、ゲーム前にもね、いろいろミーティングをしますし、共有はするんですけど、やっぱそのゲームの中で、組み立てであったりとかっていうのも変わることもありますし、そのバッターの反応であったりとか、なんていうんですかね、どういう感覚で打席に立っているのか、それによって回球もまた変わってくるので、これ一つということではなくて、まずコミュニケーションをしっかり取りながらやらないといけないのかなとは、前回もそうでしたけどね。
Yeah, I think we talked through the hitters, pregame meetings, before the game. It's something that we always do, and it's something that it's more of the in-game sort of flexibility, just reading the swings, reading how the hitters really taking their approach during the game that I see where where the adjustment needs to happen. And in that sense, I think we just, I personally realized, we just have to be on a better, on the same page and communicate throughout the game.
So the early frustrations obviously became a big story of the game. I'll start with you, Jay Hare. The early frustrations, how he was able to get composed, fight through it, and then obviously what he was able to do at the plate after.
Well, listen, I love how Sho was completely honest, and this translator, Will, did an outstanding job really kind of conveying what was going on between the pitcher and the catcher, Sho and obviously Dalton Rushing. That's going to happen. That happens throughout the course of a game sometimes. Definitely is going to happen a few times throughout the course of a season. Here, this is we call a cross-up. Dalton Rushing is expecting a breaking ball, something off speed, and obviously Shohei Ohtani throws the fastball, and that's why you see Dalton Rushing missing. See, he looks back confused. I thought I put down a breaking ball, and then Sho said, no. The last pitch you called was a fastball. That's why they have this meeting on the mound. I was going, as I'm moving, that's the pitch I'm going to call. So obviously they weren't on the same page on that particular pitch, and really they weren't on the same page with the challenges. You know, Shohei Ohtani got pretty aggressive, wanted Dalton Rushing to challenge. You see Shohei kind of go to the attack. Hey, that's a strike. Why don't you challenge that? That pitch right there, that's a cross-up, by the way.
Yes,
Dalton Rushing was able to save it. You see Sho, no, that's a strike. They challenge, and obviously Sho was right. So, again, this is going to happen. Sho throws up to Will Smith a whole lot more than Dalton Rushing, but they got on the same page. It happens. You know, there's going to be some frustration. This is the big leagues. You see Freddie Freeman, a great leader on this team, making sure he talks to Dalton Rushing. You see manager Dave Roberts talk to Dalton Rushing. This happens over a course of a 162-game season. This is going to happen. And you know what? I love that it happens, because sometimes you need to kind of go through some of these type of things to make sure things are ironed out. So if this happens in the postseason, guys are familiar. Hey, we are able to adjust on the spot and a lot quicker.
Right, and listen, right now, you know, he is the catcher because of Will Smith being hurt, right? And then Will Smith comes back. You never know what can happen, and you have your backup, so they have to get on the same page. And Jerry's exactly right. You might have these issues, and when you have these, sometimes you need exposure, because sometimes they're just kind of festering, and sometimes there's things, and this is when they do kind of come to light. It's like, now we can finally get on the same page. You get your point out, I get my point out. Let's go. All right, what are we going to do the next time, and how do we get back on track? I'll tell you what was really impressive was Dave S.A.'s question was really good, is how does he control it? But also, the other thing, and we mentioned it, is right after that second inning, Shohei really settled in. He strikes out the side in the third, the fourth. He gets out of some jams, but some help from his defense. But at the same time, the other thing that changed too, he started calling his game. And he even mentioned that in his interview. He started calling the game and say, okay, here's what I want. And whether they weren't on the same page, whether they weren't seeing things the same, that's one thing. So it's the pitcher's game. And it's like, listen, okay, then I'm just going to start calling it. I'm going to go. And Dalton Rushing's like, fine. You know what? You're seeing something. That's fine. Let's go, and let's go get these guys. You know, it's not saying, listen, Dalton, you're wrong, but do we still want to keep miscommunicating, or just say, hey, what do you want to throw? You're the pitcher. It's always your game. It's always up to the pitcher. You always see them able to shake off a guy if they don't feel that pitch or want. You see that all the time. Now it's like, hey, he has pitch come. You call it. Let's go. Let's get these batters.
Here's another thing, and I want fans to realize this happens quite a bit.
Yeah.
When a pitcher is feeling a certain way, okay, I feel this is my game. I played with Zach Greinke. Zach Greinke at times called his own pitches. I played with a guy like Cal Ripken. Sometimes at shortstop, and you know this, he would call certain pitches at certain times. The shortstop is calling the pitches. So it happens throughout the course of a season. When the pitcher says, you know what, I got it, I remember the game plan, you know what, well, I'm going to deviate from the game plan, takes the pressure off the young catcher, say, you know, we're going to deviate, we're going to make an adjustment. Don't worry, I will call the pitches. There is nothing wrong with that. It happens a lot more than people think.
Yep.
You saw leadership from Shohei. You saw it in the dugout, obviously, with Dave Roberts, with Freddie Freeman. Bottom line, they got on the same page. They got the job done. You learn from this, you move forward.
Dalton, I know it was a frustrating second inning. When you look at how just you as well as Shohei were able to reset and get back on track, how would you just describe handling that for yourself personally?
Yeah, I thought he did a good job. I didn't do a great job. Start to finish. It was pretty embarrassing. Thankfully, he's as good as he is, and he could take control of a game. Yeah, it was pretty embarrassing.
You have so much support, though. I mean, to have the conversations, whether I saw Freddie come up to you, Dave Roberts. I mean, I know that, as you said, today may have felt embarrassing, but to have their support in that conversation, what does that just mean to you?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, they always have my back. Once again, it's embarrassing that I need support like that. I'm a grown man. And yeah, it's a pretty tough pill to swallow. Both sides of the ball. It was not a great showing, and hasn't been great as of late. And I'm going to be better.
Were you sure that feeling in the moment there, where you kind of like just, in terms of just like as the innings progressing, so then how difficult was it to sort of keep like one thing rolling into another?
It's about as difficult as I made it look.
You say embarrassing, are you talking specifically about like the pitch calling?
Baseball, overall, performance. It's pretty bad. I'm just glad we won. Shohei and I talked about it. It was error on my side, and I messed it up. So.
How much are you looking? I'm sorry. How much are you looking forward to tomorrow, just to have a mental reset? It's a full team off day, just to get back and going, because it's an important weekend.
Yeah, every off day is great. I think it'll be good. Reset. Forget about what's happened this last month. And like I said, luckily we've won baseball games. I want to get back to doing my part and helping on both sides of the ball.
One thing he said was that one of the reasons he wanted to call the pitches was so that maybe you could get a better idea of like what he likes to do. Do you think you gained any of that over the last 4 innings today?
Yeah, I got a better idea, and I'm going to be better.
Dave, we were just talking with Dalton. It's clear that he's very frustrated with how tonight has gone, and even, I mean, he kind of alluded to maybe the last few games have gone for him. When you have a young player, what is it like just helping him kind of manage these emotions and get through this time and get through a game like today?
It's a work in progress. I mean, he's such a, he wants to do really well and expects a lot of himself. And so, when he's not doing what he expects, then he gets frustrated. And I think the good thing is that he still understands his priority is to, serve the pitchers and be behind the plate. But yeah, the last few games, he's had a tough go of it and swinging through some fastballs, which is a strength of his. And so, yeah, I mean, it's still tough to hit, and he's still having a really nice year for us and helping us win a lot of ball games.
How did you see just kind of that second inning play out, and then he and Shohei, the two of them, get back on track and kind of handle the rest of their outing?
Yeah, they were just kind of out of sync early. You could tell. I think both guys were frustrated and trying to, get on the same page. I thought Mark made a good visit and trying to settle some things down, get them on the same page, and then after that, it went really well. So, yeah, that third inning was kind of a tough one, but fortunately the offense came back and got us a lead and didn't relinquish it. But, yeah, I think just trying to keep those guys in sync, which at times has been a little bit of a challenge.
You were talking with him for quite a while during the half inning. What were you kind of telling him, just trying to get him back into the mindset of the game?
Yeah, that's all I was trying to do, is just keep him focused on not letting his emotions, get the best of him, whether it be at bat or, Shohei's trying to figure some things out and just not losing sight of his job, and that's to serve. And so he understood it, but he's an emotional guy. But, sometimes you've got to kind of take a step back and he and I have a great relationship, so I just want to have a little conversation. And I thought after that third inning, he was fantastic.
Is that about Ohtani wanting to call his own pitches?
He was just trying to make sure that, the setups and all that stuff, yeah.
The problem's kind of them not being on the same page from like a pitch calling standpoint. Is that pregame prep? Is that in-game adjustments? Is that it's not knowing the pitcher?
It's both. No, he knows Shohei. It's just more of, what they talked about before, with the pitching coaches, what they're seeing in real time, where you want to, go with the fastball or when to use the split and things like that.
Shohei kind of takes over the pitch calling duties. Obviously, a little blow to the ego for Dalton, but do you think he was in a place where he could learn, kind of thinking along with him in that way?
No, I don't think it was a blow. I actually think it freed him up. I think that, if there's ever any doubt, the pitcher always has the right of last refusal and can call his own game. So, I think once we decided to do that, then it was pretty clean after that.
And now on the other side, Shohei Ohtani showcased that athleticism. We knew the velo would be hot. It was here tonight. And he generates a lot of swing and miss stuff. He was bringing that stuff tonight.
It was incredible. I mean, the whiffs were on full display. This is what Ohtani does, 48% whiff rate, 20 swing and miss on 42 total swings was the count for the night. And Shohei, look, he put on a show average velocity on his four-seam tonight was 99.8, almost a full 2 miles per hour up from his yearly average. He had it going, felt good tonight, and obviously got a lot of swing and miss. These are all of them right here. A ton on the sweeper, and of course used the four-seam, the sinker a little bit, and the splitter, which he used early in the game and then went away from late. I don't know that he felt as good with his splitter tonight, and I think he really relied heavily on that sweeper, as you saw from the graphic there.
Well, what about Shohei Ohtani at the plate? He is just such a talent. I mean, we're talking his pitching. Now let's go to his offense tonight. He had himself a 2-hit night. 6 hits here in this 4 hits rather in this 3-game series.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, it's a treat to watch this guy. That first AB, he smoked that ball to right. 110 plus miles per hour, ends up being an out, but for a guy to go out there, pitch the way that he did, and obviously be able to perform at the plate as well. Look, he is a showman. He brings it every night. It is fun to watch. But I will say, honestly, I thought our pitchers did a pretty good job outside of, Zebby Matthews' first AB against him. He hit it out of the ballpark. Other than that, they kept him in the yard. They kept the ball down for the most part. He didn't really elevate a whole lot of balls into the air much. Or if they did, it was kind of like a softer single like that. So to me, I thought the pitching staff did a really nice job of understanding what Shohei's trying to do and, of course, pitching away from that.
What was the challenge of facing Shohei after the 3-run second inning?
I mean, the stuff ticked up. I mean, I think you see why he's one of the best pitchers in the game, because we got the 3 runs off him, and it was almost like he took his stuff to a different level.
Does a pitching matchup like this, obviously it meant a lot to the fans. They stuffed the stadium tonight. Does it mean something to the players when you have 2 stars like this going?
Yeah, I think when you have 2 top-line starters, I mean, anytime you face a guy like Ohtani, I think your group gets up for it. And, it was a good baseball game, and both guys pitched well.
It seemed like kind of a weird inning because a couple of those pitches definitely looked like they got a lot of the plate, but I think the Ohtani single looked like probably where you wanted it. I mean, was it kind of coming and going as far as location for you?
Yeah, I think it's just like movement quality, and then that's going to end up in a different spot probably, or like that kind of stuff. And I mean, the results, like we were kind of going for some of the stuff we got. They just were in holes, right? Like ground balls that just kind of get through, and just part of baseball. And I think just movement-wise, I think that's kind of where command goes. Right? If it moves a little bit less or moves a little differently, then it's not going to go where the intended zone is. But I mean, that's part of it. You're not always going to have your best stuff, but
Obviously, fans were jacked to see this matchup between you two stars in this major leagues. Do you get a different feeling when it was a showdown like that? I know you're not obviously against him, although you did face him at the plate, but did you approach this any differently?
Obviously, best team in baseball last long time. I think you're just maybe a little bit more excited. I wasn't feeling great, so it's kind of like, hey, are we going to throw this week or not? And I had asked to throw today, and I wanted to face these guys. And, I think a couple pitches go a little bit differently, and it's a good outing, and we win the baseball game and don't get swept there. So, if I could throw this series, I wanted to, and I wanted to face the best team. So, it's part of it. I mean, Shohei's obviously the greatest baseball player ever, so kind of cool to get to toe the rubber against him, but we lost.
That's something that you can't always control as a pitcher. Sometimes things just feel a little bit different, and when they feel a little bit different, you're going to get different movement on pitchers than you're used to. They're going to end up in different places than you used to. You don't get the same movement. You don't get the location that you're looking for, and therefore you end up getting a couple hard hit balls like Joe did tonight. And the other thing I liked that he mentioned was he goes into it the same way he goes into every start. Yes, this is the Dodgers lineup, so he's thinking about that and wanting to perform against them. He's not thinking about Shohei, the pitcher. Shohei's on the other mound. That's something for us to talk about and fans to talk about. These players, they don't think about that because realistically, he doesn't have to match or beat Shohei on the mound. He just has to beat that lineup. If he can go out and beat that lineup, then that means his team is going to have a chance to win the ball game. So I really like the maturity there that Joe, with what he said, and I really like the way he said it. I feel like it made a lot of sense as to what we saw out there tonight.